wasn't even a yawn. Alright, so I'm going to be doing about the difference between typeof and instanceof. So to start off with, decided to have a little array of a couple of values, and thought I'd ask you guys what you thought the types of that array would be. Do you want to move a bit closer, Ewan, or are you okay there?
Not that one.
I just meant for visual purposes. Okay. So types of is when you put that along with a variable or a value afterwards, it will give you a return of a string of what the data type is. So it'll come back with like string, object, number, and a couple of other things. So I thought I'd test you guys and see which ones you knew. Add a little bit of interactivity to these workshops. So for the first one, what do you think string will return? Cool. That should not have happened. Yeah, that's gone all the way down. Is it? But then it will go all the way to the bottom, and I'd have to scroll all the way up. So how did I do this before? It should have been like that.
Do we even need a breakpoint on line 2? Can we just try it on line?
I noticed that sometimes it wouldn't actually bring the array to line 7 when I was doing it, which is why I had the breakpoint on line 2. I can try line 7, and we see. No, that's still doing all of it. Okay, we'll try.
No, I can go pen and paper for you.
Oh, this is. But then it won't show up at the. Oh, actually, no. Alright, so yes, the first one comes back as string. What would the second one come back as? It will actually come back as an object. Even though we put in as a new string, using the new keyword is actually creating a string from an object, so it's a string object. What would undefined come back as? Yeah, it will actually come back as undefined, which I found quite interesting because I wasn't actually sure what it would come back with. True? So what about 404? Oh, that's ruined it. Yes, 404 would come back as number. What about 0? 0 would also be a number. But what about not a number? Yeah, I tried to do a curveball there. Not a number will actually return a number. So that's why I decided to put them together. Well, this mouse is weird. Okay, I left mine over there and the other one in my bag. So what will the next value come back as?
Oh, we're on line 4 now, yeah?
Yes, the start of line 4. Yep. And what about after that?
So what would it say after? Would it say arrow function? Would it be that specific?
No, we're asking for the data type, what the type of data it is, not what the value is. Yeah, it will just return with function. So object and function. So what if I did data type console log for the whole array? What do you think that would come back with? I'll stick with your first answer, Richard. So, everyone else, what do you think the array that would come back as if I did type of? Yeah. So, on line 8 is what we're looking at.
We're just doing a type of an array. Will that return array, object, something else? That's an array. Oh, is that return array?
Okay. Nilofa?
So what was the closing bracket? Closing bracket
Data type
Yeah.
is the name of the array. Let data type equal.
It's a variable for the array. So, array, Ewan?
String, undefined, boolean, number.
We're just considering the whole thing together.
So I'm not asking for the individual values of the array, but seeing the array as a whole, what the data type of that is. Okay, so array. Nilofa?
Yeah.
Array, okay. Control S. Log. What? Yes, you're scaring me right now. It's actually an object. So arrays are actually based on objects. So when you're asking for the type of, it will come back with object instead of array. There was something which Ricardo had mentioned before about how you can check what's an object and what's an array, but unfortunately I've forgotten it off the top of my head. Not that one. But yeah, Richard knows it. So when I took on type of versus instance of, I found it really confusing because I was given a snippet similar to what's at the top, where let A equals open string, I'm a primitive string. Let B will equal new string, and then open string, and I'm a string object. So when you do type of A, what will you get? Yeah, we'll get a string for that. It's going to be, actually, I can just bring this up now. Unscaught syntax. Why is there a syntax error? This was probably when you copied it across.
Yeah, my fault.
No, that's commented out, so.
Oh, bottom, go down to bottom. Is that, oh, yeah, you commented that out.
Yeah.
That's commented out, so that shouldn't affect it.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Close to line 29.
There is no line 29 on that.
Go down to bottom, just in case. Yeah, like in VM49 type of line 2. If you try to click on VM49.
I'm only seeing type of.
It's on the previous file. It's on that one.
No, maybe it's this one.
You can click on the white link, you might open the file and you can edit it. Yeah, control. You can close that one. Or delete it or just close it.
Yeah, if you finish with your previous snippet,
Okay.
so close the type of one. I think we're still in the middle of your breakpoint.
Uh,
So just skip through. Okay,
Cool.
then close your VM49. I think we're good to go.
So if we do no,
Still on.
Oh, no, it's just doing that in general. Maybe do refresh the whole page. Yeah. And try to set the Sorry? You have to
There you go. Okay, that's an odd one. Dun, dun, dun. Technical difficulties, bear with. Yeah, this is.
Save instance.
Short S.
Try once more.
No. This is. Open, 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 close, close, open, open, close, close, close. That should be correct. Why is it picking up index?
There's a mouse hole.
Alright.
Other side.
Close that.
You can use this mouse.
Thank you. Sources. Oh. That's yeah, typeof versus instance of. That's interesting. Which means I'll need to bring up your Slack. Middle one.
Just shut this as well.
That's good. Well, if you're just coming out. Yeah. Spoilers.
Sorry, had to test it was working.
Alright. Alright, so the first one, as you've all said, it will return with string. What about type of B? If you recall 5 seconds ago. I don't know, my memory's not that great, let's check. So, yeah, that comes back with objects. So, here's introducing something new. Instance of. Now, I just want to check with you guys what you think a instance of string will come back with. Now, it will come back with just a boolean. So it'll be either true or false. Okay, interesting. Okay, Richard, you're gonna answer last for now. Yeah, or just throw a curveball like when you said array. Okay, comes back with false. What about B? Anyone else want to put forth their thoughts on this?
Why does it turn false? First example.
Because it will, well, I need to go through the second one to say why it would answer the way it will. B's false, okay. Do you think B's true or false? It can only be a boolean when you use instance of, but I'll try and explain why after this.
Instance of it being a string. Yeah, I think it's being true.
Okay. Nilofa? Alright, this one is actually true. So when I saw this, I was incredibly confused as to why the first one would be false, but the second one would be true. I thought they're both strings, aren't they? That's what the type of says. Instance of is a little bit different. So with the A example, we're creating a string pretty much from nothing. It's not inheriting from anything. Whereas when we're creating B, we're using the new keyword, and that's actually creating the string from an object. It's actually executing a constructor, so it's inheriting all of its properties from the object properties. So because of that, when you're asking, is this an instance of, you're sort of asking, does it inherit properties from an existing object, or an object which is default to JavaScript in this sense. So, does that make sense to you, Abdul?
No, I'm still stuck on why A is still not a string.
Type of, it's a string, but it's not a string object. It's not inheriting from anything. We're not using a constructor like we did with B when we used the new keyword.
So what is it at that time?
A is false, whereas B will be true, because we're creating them in two separate ways.
It's a string, so it's a primitive. It's still a string, but it's a primitive. When we have to use methods with strings in JavaScript, what it does under the hood is it wraps it in a string object, so that we have access to methods such as split or I think of string methods now.
So is that therefore, because if we think about the prototype chains, will instance of look into prototype as opposed to the actual?
Instance of checks whether the object before the instance of has the object at the end of the instance of in its prototype chain. It's checking whether string is in the prototype chain of A. It's checking whether string is in the prototype chain of B. Primitives have no prototype chain. They don't inherit from everything. They are just a primitive. They are just a value.
What would be interesting is if we did A plus B and then we try to check that as an instance of string.
If you want, we can do it at the end if you want. If you don't want to lose your flow.
I mean, if you come over here, because actually, after explaining that and hoping that you get the idea of instance of, let's open up numbers. Nope. Control S. So let's just console log. Oh, that's
False and true.
that. So type of for A. So this is type of, not instance of. So what do you think is going to return? Yep. Number. Type of for B. Yep. Now, instance of for A.
False.
Yep. It's false. For A. Yeah. It's a primitive.
So it has no prototype chain.
False.
Okay, so what about this one, Abdul?
That's true.
That is indeed true. So at the end, if Richard wants to come up and try the A plus B, he's more than welcome. Oh, he'll do it right now.
So we're adding
A primitive.
So let's see what would happen if we did. We could do it with numbers.
console.log. What would happen if we did a plus b? So we got 1 plus 1. And we want to see
I think we would need to do a variable of. Oh, okay, yeah, that
instance
worked.
of number.
Oh, this is a number. Oh yeah, in that case.
So, what's people's thoughts?
What do you think this would be?
So, a plus b, we want the instance of. Do we think it's going to be true or false?
True.
I'm just going to say right now, I don't know the answer to this. I personally think it's going to come out true, but I want to know other people's thoughts on this. Vince?
I don't know if it's instance of number, but I know it's instance. Because
I think number.
If it's an instance, then it would probably be an instance of number.
okay, yeah, then that's true.
I'm going.
But otherwise-
true. I don't know.
I think it's true because it's object plus the next number would be
Object plus the primitive. I think it's going to wrap in both.
Yeah.
Objects.
Okay, let's go ahead and
Okay.
reveal it. It is
False.
false. Wow.
Wow!
b plus a. So we just know it's always false when we do that stuff.
That one didn't actually come out because that still says true at the top.
He's the stage master today. And we're like literally ruining his presentation.
Okay, so it's false.
Yeah, because that'll be BBM.
I presume if we do it with strings as well, it'll be the same way. So if we go to the string one,
So turning it back into a primitive.
See, this is what I meant when I was digging a really deep hole looking into this. It's interesting, but when you just go so far into.
Right. What do we think this will be for strings? Knowing the number one.
We should be false, right? Number one.
Richard, what's that plus there? Is that concatenating or is that really adding?
We're adding is shorthand for concatenating when we do strings together. So a string plus a string is just going to concatenate the two.
Yeah, so, okay. So, that's a primitive plus an object.
I mean, we did it with number just now, and we found out it was false.
But is there a promotion? This promotion happens in JavaScript.
No idea.
I wonder if you could do it with
If
typos
there's
as
a
well.
promotion, then it's false.
Yeah, it's
Well,
okay.
after we found out the
so
answer
we'll
to
find
this
out
one.
what instance of is. So this is false.
False, okay.
Same pattern at least. That's good.
And let's find out what the type of it is. It's probably string then. Type. And we actually, we know that type of something some strings doing stuff is string.
But that'll be string and object.
That's
so.
generally how we find out
Yeah,
strings.
so that bit should change.
Oh my gosh.
Where did that breakpoint come from?
We didn't touch breakpoints.
So it's string.
Okay. Interesting.
So I wonder.
So
So
have
we start off with A rather than B?
maybe I want to see, does string have its own concat method? So string dot concat something. Otherwise, I would try it with arrays, because what we could do is
Concat string, but
instance of array.
Yeah, that's so. That should come back true.
True.
What does everyone think this would give us?
Is this your next slide? Or
Yeah, this is part of my
should we
next
maybe
slide.
Come back to it, let Páraic finish up, and then we can come back to it. Is that right?
Okay.
I like that open discussion, but it's just let Páraic tidy up.
So, do you guys remember this boards challenge? No? Okay, well that's too bad. So, as you can see at the top, this is the ES6 objects. So, technically it's still an object, it's just the way that it's written out syntax-wise. This is what I mean by when we're creating, when we use the new keyword, it uses the constructor. It's using that syntax in the background when we're creating the string objects. Does that make sense to you, Ewan?
Yes, and the new one would be male.
So in this regards, class person has been created. We've given it gender in the constructor, and then we are creating another class male, which is coming from person. So it's inheriting from person. Now, if I scroll down a little bit, what will male get in terms of the instance of object? Will it be true or false? Abdul?
That's true. So instance of object.
Ewan?
You scroll up a bit.
Yep. Sorry. Instance of male. False. Okay. Nilova? You said true. Okay. That one will come back as true. Because male was created from person. So, it's inheriting the properties from an existing object, which is person. So, what will person instance of object return? Last, please.
I was going to say false, but can you just explain why that last example is true? Like you said, male is wrapped as an object.
Yes. Male, that class male extends person is an object that's being created from class person. So it's taking all of the properties from class person. It's inheriting from it. It's going down the prototypal chain.
So when you spell it like that, that's how it's formed as an object. Like when it's syntax.
Person itself inherits from the built-in class object, which is really why that returns true. Yeah, that's the next step up in the chain.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear people's response on what that would. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So for person instance of, that will also return true. Because of what Gray had said, it takes from the objects.
So I thought it had to be wrapped in braces for it to be an object.
Not when you're using class.
So that's what I mean. Syntactically, it's just like class, whatever it is, to then make that thing an object. Yeah? It is an object in terms of what JavaScript sees as an object, but this is the ES6 syntax for creating them. Different syntax for the different versions of the language. Does that clarify it a bit? I just remember what ES6 is.
It's trying to think of the best way to describe it.
Yeah, 2015 carried on with newer stuff in the language. Remember the board had object.create? So you can use class instead of object.create.
The word instead. I thought it was male instance of person. Did you change something?
No, it's the same.
No,
I didn't change anything.
I thought I saw.
Oh, before it was the curly braces like you said, but with ES6 it's written out differently. But so you can do a lot more with it. But JavaScript will still see it as similar. It's just an object. Everything all right, Abdul?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what about console log person instance of class? False. True. Vin? Oh wait, no. think you already know the answer to that. I'm asking what your thoughts are on this before I explain it. False? Okay.
So you haven't really created an object yet. So how can it be an instance if you haven't created an object?
Well, behind the scenes, when we define the person class, it is actually going to create something called person, and that is where we would have, say, methods and stuff stored. And then when you say something is a new person, it's going to use that and copy that, and then make another object which has all that stuff as well.
Scroll up a bit. Right. The question is, what's a class then? Because I know other people know.
Yeah, essentially.
Class is a special place which gives special properties to this class definition itself. So, well, let's see. Actually, let's run
Okay.
If it's not an instance of class, then we'll see what happens.
Actually gives an error. Class has not been defined yet in this term, so you would just really use it as object instead, because class and object are pretty much the same thing at this point. So yeah, that was a bit of a curveball just to get a discussion going and seeing what people's thoughts were.
So you say class and objects are the same thing?
Yeah.
No, really. I don't know.
ES6.
Wait. I mean, it's the same for you.
No, ES5, we do object of create. But ES6 is different, we just changed the way it is.
It's just different syntactically wise, but it uses it's the same.
We'd like to try is consider male instance of person, for example.
Can do. I didn't have that one planned. But I think, actually no, I'll hear what other people say first before I put my own thoughts on this. So, male, instance of person. What do you think we're going to get back? Come on, I could be wrong in my thoughts. I want to hear everyone else.
I mean, that should be true because you're extending person, isn't it? It's obvious.
True.
So male is an instance of person, and it's an instance of object, and it's also an instance of male. We could put a capital M on that male to see if the class is an instance of person.
I think it would be.
So now we're comparing the class male.
Okay, now we're comparing the two classes. Yeah, but we still extending, so.
So I think it would be true.
Yeah. We can kind of picture that.
Okay.
This is all very fascinating.
Yeah, so this is what I mean. I just kept digging a bigger hole looking into this. Even Vince was like, no, this is getting too complicated from what I was looking at. Alright, so.
No, it's not an instance of person. It's only extending, i.e. has access to the constructor, the methods, but it's not an instance of it. I.e. you're not using person as a blueprint. Am I right?
Yeah, so if you're not,
I think so, yeah.
The blueprint you're using there in line 14.
So mail itself is, not an actual object, right?
But person was an instance of object, capital P.
Object.
And person, capital P is not object. Like, I mean, it's the same sort of thing as capital M male. They're both class definitions. But male is not an instance of person, but male is probably an instance of object. Persons,
Is capital mail an instance of object?
yeah.
Yeah. Actually.
Replace person with object.
Why am I doing it there?
Yeah.
So it's
This is the
Okay, if you want to come back, Richard, we're almost at the array. So, I had a little thing here where it was just a little array. So, array 1, instance of true or false, well, instance of array. Array 1 on line 19. Is this an instance of array?
This is an instance of
Okay, true for Ewan. True for Abdul. True for Nilofa.
I'm going to say
Sorry, instance of object. That's a real.
Instance of object. Okay.
Yeah, it's an object. False.
Aeneas.
Yeah. False. It's an object.
Actually, let's say false. Let's say it's not an instance.
False,
of
false, false, false. Should I let her change her answer? I didn't let Richard earlier. I think I will not allow you to change it. Because it actually comes back as true.
Instances of array.
So I got it right.
Yep, you got it right.
And you all got it
But
wrong.
you just said objects are.
Yeah.
You just said it previously.
I did say this is digging a big hole. I was looking at this and I'm like, shouldn't this be false? It should be objects. But the computer doesn't lie to me.
It's also an instance of an object.
It is. It is also an instance of an object.
So is it new though, that array thing? Because it should be
I
is
think it's
array.
new.
Yeah, it's a new thing, isn't it?
I think it is new.
Like Richard said, it should be is array or something.
Array is array.
Yeah, is array.
Because it's the same thing. I guess.
It's the same. It's
No,
it's a boolean.
Maybe it's a new thing, yeah. They made it easier. I don't know why.
It's just got to
it's
think
got
of what
array.
inheritance what. So arrays in JavaScript aren't true arrays as in other
Yeah.
languages. They inherit directly from objects.
Objects,
So because of that, then when you create an array, you set up a prototype chain with at least two things rather than one thing above it. Yeah. When you create a new instance of array, that's inherited from the array
Huh?
built in, and it's inherited from the object as well.
Instance of an
Yeah.
object. We've got it right.
Yep.
The same as classes, they're not true classes in JavaScript. They're
Let me
syntax
just
to objects.
comment this one.
Not like Java, which has true classes using stuff.
So object instead, and this will again come back as true. I thought it would just be object, and then I think Vince suggested, oh, try array. So I tried it, and I'm like, what? This shouldn't really. So yeah, that was an interesting one.
Actually, it does make sense because if
It
you
does.
remember what Ricardo said during the day and the prototype chain,
Yeah, on the board.
you're gonna have in the prototype for the array, you will have the object methods and the array methods.
Yeah. You have both, you have access to both. Yeah. That's why it's an instance of both.
So
You don't have map and reduce on the object itself, you have them in the array prototype, yeah. So it has to inherit from the array.
We could try doing stuff on strings and seeing if it still remains an instance of string.
okay, I'll leave this for a bit later, and if you wanna. Okay. They are all numbers, unless he turns them in. Oh, he's doing strings himself. Okay.
So we know that this instance of string return as us.
False.
Yeah. So just a quick review. That's solve. Or Apple, what do you think? What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know, I'll probably say false.
That's just a string, right?
Okay.
The string there is an object.
Yeah, why is it not true?
What's an object?
Well, okay. Let's let's demystify it. So this is not an instance of string, and this string just instance of string is true, yes. True.
Yeah.
So let's set these things to variables. So let's say h equals hello, and I equals test. Now, if I did h.car at 0 instance of string, what do you think that's going to be?
Gets the character or the letter at index 0 in this case.
So, is that character that we get there, is it an instance of string?
No, the quotes aren't at the index, the H.
Does it in the method, does it make a difference to that? Sharp add to method, does it make a difference?
We'll have to see, that's the question, that's the question.
I think it's false.
False?
False.
The method for string objects.
Okay, so everyone, Ewan, what's your guess? True or false? So it's true. You think it's true? Okay.
I think it's false.
False. Nilofer? False. Anais is false. Vincent? False. And yeah. So let's run it.
So,
False.
false.
Okay. And if I change this to I, what do we think it's gonna be? Think it's all true? False. False.
I'm going.
False.
We can't do that after we give you the answer.
I think it's going to be true.
Ooh. Okay.
Which is why distance.
Let's check it out. It's
False.
false.
Okay.
False. And we did the h plus I part, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I think the reason for this is memory management and being efficient for your programs. Primitives less memory intensive than complex objects.
So it goes to primitives by default.
When you do h.character add, it has to wrap h in a string object to be able to perform that operation, character add. But then at the end of it, it converts it back into a primitive to store it in memory.
Did you already click?
Yeah.
Okay.
False.
Okay.
So there's
Okay.
a lot
That's
going
it.
on underneath the hood there, yeah.
Okay.
We could not use slice method or character add unless it was inherited from the string object. But we'd already proved that h wasn't inheriting from the string object, so under the hood it has this intermediate step, wrap it in a string object to be able to perform those operations, and then convert it back into a primitive so that the program's more efficient. That's my explanation. If you can offer a better one for it, go for it.
I zoned out. No, I legitimately cannot give a better explanation. This was a very interesting topic to look at because it pretty much made me think everything I knew beforehand was pretty much wrong, and I had to rethink how I'm understanding this. So yeah, this was actually a really good subject to do.
Yeah, and I think you've managed to achieve that goal for the rest of the class as well, right? Because everyone was engaged, everyone was offering answers, so it's a very hard thing to do in a presentation, so thank you for that.
Well, I also heard from Ricardo that in previous boot camps, whenever people got to instance of, people were practically falling asleep. So yeah, I'm happy I did not hear any snores.
Definitely not. And thank you for making an open lecture as well, an open workshop. Because it's not an easy thing to do, right? To give up control and let other people participate, but you pulled it off very, very well.
Okay, so just to end it,
Yeah.
there's actually a difference between array.isArray and instance of array. which I'll also share on the Slack channel. It's really good on the Mozilla Developer Network. So when checking for the array instance, array.array is preferred over instance of, because it actually works through iframes. So that's actually why it's the preferred reason, why it's preferred to use is array over instance of. So there you go. And yeah, I'll make sure to stop it there before if I show any recruiters. Okay.